This world's kind of weird. On one hand, it's got tall buildings that scream industrial age, but people are walking around in fantasy-style clothes. Then, there's this dude who suddenly gets distracted by some loud commotion. Turns out it's a guy hyping up the fact that he chose the summoner class and wants others to join his squad, saying he'll help them get into the academy. But a girl with the priest class flexes her choice instead, saying her class is way cooler and that he's just lame. So, naturally, they start arguing and are about to throw down. Meanwhile, the main guy is just watching all this, thinking back to 3 years ago when he got a unique talent. Since then, he's learned a lot and adapted to this crazy world. See, 70 years ago, reality fused with a game. Human life completely changed. Now there are levels, classes, equipment. All the game mechanics became real. Power means everything now. Leveling up makes your body stronger, and having the right class and skills helps you use your strength more efficiently. But this came at a price. Peace disappeared. Monsters from the game invaded reality. As the protagonist's inner monologue goes on, a teacher barges into the room and yells at the students to stop fighting and go home. He singles out the protagonist, Chen, and reminds him that he still hasn't picked a class. If he doesn't choose one before the exam, he's going to fail. But Chen's face says he couldn't care less. The teacher rambles on, saying even though Chen has a lot of skills right now, they're all basic and won't grow stronger without a specialization. Plus, a proper class gives you more skill and attribute points. He genuinely pleads with Chen to make a choice, for his own good, but Chen just calmly tells him not to worry. He's aiming for something bigger than just raw power. He wants to stand at the top of the world. In his head, Chen thinks about how the system lets him earn skill and attribute points without even having a class. His daily quests include running 10 kilometers, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and 100 squats. By just doing this daily grind, he racks up rewards that most people only get from completing super tough challenges. Sure, being classless comes with disadvantages, like getting fewer skill points and weaker basic skills. But Chen has enough points to level up skills from any class. He's basically an all-rounder. What's even better is no one can see his stats, so he can train in secret without trouble. He evenly distributes his points like usual, 2 each, and thinks about how the system also gives special missions, like joining the academy. The higher he scores in the entrance exam, the bigger the reward. And so far, the rewards have never let him down. The next day, we're at the exam grounds. There are 3 giant magical gates that represent the difficulty levels: easy, hard, and nightmare. Teacher Jin repeats the rules again for the overconfident students. Once a gate opens, the dungeon behind it activates, and the exam starts. The harder the dungeon and the fewer people in your team, the higher your score. But the monsters are real, and people can actually die, so survival is priority number 1. Once the gates open, everyone rushes to choose. Most students go in groups, which is the smart move. But then there's Chen, walking solo into the nightmare gate, fully loaded with weapons and gear. The crowd watching thinks he's insane. They think he must have picked a class secretly, or he'd never survive. Even his teacher is freaking out, unable to believe that Chen is still classless and walking into the hardest dungeon. The dean demands an explanation, and Jin fumbles, saying maybe Chen has some secret strategy. But the dean's not buying it. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the mood is creepy, perfect for a nightmare-level challenge. Chen finds goblin tracks right away and gets excited for battle. The crowd keeps mocking him, thinking he's just posturing. But then his friend shouts that Chen dashed into the dungeon like a rocket. No hesitation, no fear. Using the swordsman's skill, Acceleration, he charges forward with insane speed and reaches a group of goblins. They don't even realize how outmatched they are and start celebrating like they're about to feast. But Chen casually pulls out a staff and casts Fireball, a basic mage skill. Even though it's low tier, it blasts through most of them in one go. The spectators are stunned. He casts the spell instantly, and it's way stronger than any normal mage's, too. Then, his staff transforms with a click into a sword. It's a special weapon called a sword staff. When it's a sword, he gets +5 strength. When it's a staff, he gets +5 wisdom. He then uses the wind power skill from the swordsman class and finishes off a goblin trying to escape. The slash is brutal. It slices the goblin clean in half. The other goblins freak out and surround him, finally realizing they messed with the wrong guy. Chen doesn't care. He activates a magical swordsman skill called Cutting Flame Wind, slicing through every goblin in his path at lightning speed. Even he's surprised at how strong the skill is for a basic one. The crowd goes wild. Even the girls are crushing hard. The same people who laughed at him earlier are now cheering. One girl yells encouragement, and people start debating how someone with so many weapons and no class could even move this fast. If he dumped all his points into physical strength, sure, but then how does he have magic? The dean mutters that Chen's just too strong for a classless fighter. Teacher Jin explains, Chen has the omnipotent talent, which lets him bypass skill restrictions and boost their effectiveness. Very few people are born with innate talents, and those talents usually decide your class. Magic talent leads to mages, physical talent leads to fighters, etc. Omnipotent talent is only good early on. It boosts your skills up to rank C, but doesn't scale well. So while Chen looks impressive now, he's expected to hit a ceiling soon. Jin sighs, saying that's why he begged Chen to pick a class. But looking at the mountain of dead goblins, that logic doesn't hold up. Chen has already pushed through a horde and now stands before the door to the next room. He doesn't even hesitate, just flings it open. Inside, the next room is crawling with goblins, way more than before, and they look way tougher too. There's a level 12 red goblin who uses fire magic, a level 14 goblin commander with solid combat skills, a goblin knight with long-range attacks, and even water goblins with decent gear. Chen quickly uses his evaluation skill to size them all up, but decides it's not worth analyzing each one. The room's too tight for fast movement, and the goblins are already organizing, with drummers boosting their morale and mages prepping support spells. Chen knows if he lets them stick to their plan, he'll be overwhelmed. So he flips his weapon back into staff mode and immediately blasts them with Flash, a priest-class blinding skill. It works. The entire enemy squad goes blind. Without wasting a second, he teleports behind one of them and slashes their throat. One down. But that triggers the others to snap out of it and charge. Chen stomps the ground and uses an assassin skill to summon a clone. The clone has all his master's skills and 35% of his attributes. Now they're two classless beasts tearing through the goblin mob together. They wipe out the crowd like it's nothing. Then, one goblin rages out, pushing his physical stats to the limit and charging straight at Chen. But Chen's ready. He dodges easily and says it's not the right time to deal with him. Instead, he summons a water elemental, just as the screen suddenly cuts away to another student's dungeon. The audience watching from the stadium is pissed. They're not here to watch some average dude struggle through an easy dungeon. They want to see what the Classless Legend is doing. Angry viewers start throwing stuff at the screen. The broadcast worker says Chen's been on for 3 minutes and tries to defend, showing other students. His boss beats the crap out of him and demands they switch back. Everyone wants to see the action. Meanwhile, the conversation shifts to a group of strong students and instructors watching the screen. One guy with an eye patch points out how crazy fast Chen's magic casting is, and his physical skills are just as sharp. Another student reminds him that Chen even summoned a water elemental. Don't forget the summoner skills. As they're talking, an instructor from the assassin department chimes in. He's impressed with Chen's moves. Every kill he makes is near perfect. Angle, timing, everything. Even top pros don't fight that clean. The way Chen's executing kills is something else. When the camera finally switches back to Chen, he's already summoned 3 elementals, holding back goblins while he engages the room's mini-boss. The audience gets hyped. Now it's getting serious. The boss goblin is massive and pissed, but before he can charge, he steps into a trap, locking him in place for 2 seconds. That's all Chen needs. He fires a fireball right into the guy's face, but the boss shrugs it off and keeps coming. Chen jumps back and triggers another trap. This time, a high-power mine that explodes and knocks the monster back. It's still not enough. The boss is about to activate his strongest move, Battle Spirit, which would turn the tide, but Chen yells he won't let that happen. He summons a vine, a druid-class skill, and slams it through the ground straight into the boss's jaw. With the goblin pinned, Chen rains down ice bullets, freezing the boss in place and dropping its speed by 35%. While the monster's immobilized, he fires everything he has: launcher, thunder mage spells, water mage skills like water arrows, and even elemental control. The poor goblin boss gets annihilated by the combined barrage. The crowd's jaws drop. Every move was perfectly thought out. Fire plus water plus thunder. That combo stuns enemies. At ice divine control, there's no room to breathe. One examiner points out something even crazier. Chen completely prevented the boss from using his ultimate move. That's what sealed the win. Even the haters in the crowd are starting to show respect. They realize now how much training it must have taken to master this many weapons and skills. Back in the stands, everyone starts congratulating Old Man Jin for being Chen's teacher. The principal, who was skeptical before, suddenly wants to ride the wave and tells Jin to sit beside him. Jin keeps acting like he believed in Chen the whole time. One girl in the crowd is so inspired she tells her teacher she wants to switch to become a mage like Chen. Her teacher smacks her on the head and says she doesn't even know how to hold a staff properly. If she tried to copy him, she'd die instantly. This isn't a game, this is real life. Meanwhile, Chen finishes off the last goblin and starts walking toward the next gate. The audience is shocked. He's not even taking a breather after that insane fight. The dean is stressing, saying the other students haven't even made it past room 1. He yells at Jin, asking what kind of madman he raised. Jin tries to defend Chen, saying maybe he's rushing to finish fast because mop-up time affects your final grade. But a magic department mentor warns this kind of reckless pace will get him killed. He doubts Chen even knows how to use all those weapons on his back. There's no way he has enough skill points to master everything. Plus, the monsters in the next room are elite. Going in without resting is suicide. Chen enters the next room, and immediately the vibe changes. The goblin trash mobs are gone. Now it's all high-tier magic goblins and shamans. He touches his forehead and gathers energy. His water elementals are about to disappear, so he decides to use their full power while they're still active. The goblins, now fully aware of how dangerous this guy is, go all in. They throw every attack at him, and the elementals dive in to protect him. sacrificing themselves in a blaze of magic and explosions. When the smoke clears, Chen is still standing. He pulls out 2 pistols. Yep, he's got sniper skills too. Sniper class is packed with powerful abilities, but it's also super hard to learn. The toughest one is tracking shot, where you can't miss or you lose your damage multiplier. Hitting consistently in a live battle is basically impossible, but apparently not for Chen. A loud bang echoes through the stadium. A clean headshot. One of Chen's new fans jumps up, screaming he's about to do something insane again. Every shot he lands stacks killing intent, raising his shooting and movement speed by 2% per stack, up to 25 times. He lands a few more headshots, and already he's zooming around the battlefield like a machine. The goblins keep blasting magic at him, but Chen uses Slippery Lunge to dodge them all, then jumps mid-air to avoid a hailstorm of spells. While in the air, he flips around, reloads, and unleashes Death Shot and Blast. He lands in the middle of a bloody pile of corpses, every single goblin headshot. The audience goes absolutely feral. Girls are swooning so hard, they're ready to have kids with him. Even the mage mentor takes back all his trash talk and admits Chen is a generational genius. The dean switches up too, pretending he always supported Chen. One examiner points out that Chen hasn't even used any potions yet. That's crazy, considering most students rely on them for survival. Turns out, it's not that Chen refused. He just didn't have room for potions with all the gear he's carrying. But now, his pistols start overheating. They were cheap black iron rank and can't handle extended use. Still, they serve their purpose. Jin explains to the dean that Chen can't afford better equipment. He has no parents and takes care of his little sister. This finally melts the dean's icy heart. He says if he had known earlier, he would have bought better gear himself. But it's too late now. Chen reaches the final room. If he defeats the boss as quickly as the rest, he'll become the provincial champion. Their school has never had one. The dean suddenly wants to go down in history and is already fantasizing about the fame. Chen opens the final gate. Everyone goes silent. A historic moment is about to begin. The screen suddenly switches away again, just as Chen enters the final boss room. The crowd loses it. They're furious, yelling at the broadcast team. But before it flips back, we see something shocking. A pile of dead students. The ones who tried to take on the Goblin Commander didn't even stand a chance. Some of them died while trying to use their emergency escape whistles. Only a few survived by the skin of their teeth, barely hanging on to life. Then, a teleportation light flashes, and a barely alive student gets beamed out. The rest didn't even make it to the second floor. The audience realizes they've forgotten how hard this dungeon actually is. Future test takers now know they've got 0 shot of surviving it. The dean panics. If the students keep dying like this, no one's going to want to take the tests next year. He orders the camera crew to switch back to Chen, hoping to revive morale. In previous years, even the worst students usually scrape through, but this time, only one guy, Chen, is shining. The principal finally considers loosening the exam difficulty. Back to the dungeon, Chen is face to face with the Goblin King, the final boss, who sits lazily on his throne and groans, annoyed that someone's disturbing his nap. But as he gets up, he senses Chen's pressure and realizes this isn't just some random intruder. Chen is thrilled. He expected a strong opponent, and this guy's power does not disappoint. What shocks him more? The goblin speaks human language. Chen smirks and says the king's got 20 seconds to live. That's how long his skill monk, Blood Rage, lasts. It boosts all his attributes by 80% and armor penetration by 75%. But the catch? Once it ends, he loses 75% of his stats. Jin and the dean watching from outside are horrified. This move is crazy risky. There are better ways to win without gambling everything in 20 seconds. The fight starts fast. Chen darts straight at the goblin and goes for the head. The goblin swings his giant axe in response, slicing Chen clean in half. Everyone gasps. The girls watching are crushed, but the dean instantly realizes it's just a clone. Chen had baited the boss, created a fake, and got behind the goblin's back. He jams a spear into the monster's spine and slashes downward. The goblin reacts fast and turns to counter, but Chen flashes him, blinding him completely. The goblin staggers, disoriented. Chen follows up with a final strike, but something goes wrong. The Goblin King, enraged, powers up. His body hardens so much that Chen's spear breaks on impact. The blinding effect also ends quicker due to the rage. Not good. The boss swings his axe again, causing a massive explosion. Dust fills the room. It looks like Chen's dead, but the real Chen had dodged in time and used Vine to pin the goblin. He's still got 13 seconds left on Blood Rage, and now the real fight begins. Back in the audience, people are asking why Chen's spear broke. It didn't even look like he used it before. His mentor explains, it's not about Chen's attributes being too low. If they were, he couldn't have even blinded the Goblin King. The truth is, both Chen and the king had used power boosting skills, and the cheap spear just couldn't handle that kind of clash. Even worse, Blood Rage is running out. The crowd wonders, what can he even do now? He's out of magic weapons, no potions, and any injury could kill him. The Goblin King looms over him, ready to end it. But Chen isn't done. He activates Thorn, a druid control skill. The crowd doesn't get it. Why use a control move for a fence, especially when it didn't stop the goblin earlier? But something's different now. When the Goblin King got hit by the spear earlier, he froze, not from the hit, but from some deeper pain. Now, the thorns seem to be targeting a specific weak spot. Chen slips on his combat gloves and smirks. He finally figured it out. Every monster has a weak point, and he just found this guy's. The king rages again, swinging his axe, but Chen dodges around to the back where the thorns are focused, just below the cloak. He charges up and uses firebow, aiming right for the weak spot. The thorns bind the boss just long enough for the arrow to hit. The crowd starts to cheer, but the Goblin King roars and breaks free. He turns just in time to take the fire arrow to the chest. It hurts, but he's not dead. Chen lost his opening. The goblin mocks him, saying that wasn't enough. Chen just asks, "Are you sure?" Because the king stumbles, right onto the broken spear, still stuck in the ground. It pierces his back, perfectly hitting the weak spot. The Goblin King lets out one final roar before collapsing. Chen, completely drained, drops to one knee. But then, he pulls himself upright. He may be exhausted, but he knows how important it is to accept victory standing tall. He beat the Nightmare-level dungeon's final boss in just 14 minutes and 7 seconds. The entire stadium explodes with cheers. The system rewards Chen with a 3S rating, the highest possible. He's the first ever to clear a Nightmare dungeon with this grade. His rewards include 150,000 EXP, 20 attribute, skill points, golden gear, green forest gloves, belt, and shoulder pads. Title, Goblin Killer, 25% bonus damage to goblins. He's thrilled, and now he's wondering, if this is the highest score in the region, does that mean he made it into the provincial rankings? The system doesn't leave him hanging. It announces that because he topped the province, he gets to pick one of 3 new talents. Quick Spell, shortens casting time. Aura of Power, self-explanatory. Resistant, gives 100% attack boost after getting seriously wounded. All solid, but Quick Spell is perfect for his battle style. He picks it. A glowing beam marks the new talent on his forehead. His new gear gets added to his inventory, and the green forest gloves especially stand out. Plus 30 strength, and plus 3% crit chance. Plus, wearing the full green forest set gives him auto health and mana regen outside combat. If he had that during the boss fight, he could have finished it in 5 seconds. No time to sit and celebrate though. The dungeon ends, and Chen reappears back at the stadium. Everyone is screaming his name. The girls are going nuts. One even yells out his new nickname, God Yun. Chen's totally confused by the crowd's reaction. He didn't see any of it from inside. The dean and Jin rush up to congratulate him, and suddenly, television crews show up, trying to get interviews. The principal's car pulls up to take him home, and he proudly tells Chen that with this ranking, he'll be in the top 3 of the province, which means more perks, fame, and of course a better life for his little sister. Of course, he's not doing it out of kindness. The dean just wants to bask in Chen's glory and ride his fame. While bragging on a call with the Ministry of Education, the principal is already plotting how to benefit from this. Cut 2 later that day. Chen finally arrives home. His sister welcomes him with a big smile and a meal. She even managed to cook meat, a rare treat in their poor household. Their family history is tragic. 9 years ago, their father died during a monster invasion. Their mom later passed away from exhaustion, trying to support them. Since then, Chen and his sister have survived on welfare and scraps. Even the equipment he used during the exam was just old junk from his dad. To make sure Chen could train in peace, his sister insisted on handling the household duties alone. No matter how much Chen argued, she never backed down. Now, he wants to repay her by working 10 times harder than anyone else. During dinner, she asks how the test went. Chen smiles and says he passed, though it got dicey at the end. But everything turned out great, and the dean even promised a big reward. She immediately asks, "Does that mean we can eat meat every week now?" He smiles and says, "As much as you want." 5 days later, Chen is still grinding. Every day, he keeps up his training, stacking up points from his daily quests. Ever since the exam, the system's been way more generous with rewards. And once he joins the academy and breaks into the top 7, he'll unlock hidden class skills. The thought alone pushes him to keep going. Coming home from a run, he finds his sister excitedly waiting. She hugs him tight and tells him, "The results are in. You're #1 in the province." She also reminds him that he forgot his phone. It's been blowing up. Chen picks it up and instantly gets a call from the director, who's livid that he's been ignoring messages. But he cools down fast and invites Chen over after lunch. A whole college committee is coming to see him. He'll have to pick which academy he wants to join. This moment brings back memories. Specifically, the day 3 years ago when Chen took his talent test. He remembers touching the crystal, watching it light up, and then, total disappointment. The result? Omnipotent talent. Everyone laughed at him. It was known as the most useless talent, with no real potential. Only Teacher Jin tried to cheer him up, saying that even with a weak talent, he could still pick a decent class and live a good life. But Chen wasn't hearing it. Walking home in the rain, feeling totally defeated, he thought, what's even the point of trying so hard if I'm doomed anyway? Then, right there in the street, he got a notification. It was like something straight out of a web novel. A system window popped up, giving him a choice of development paths. He laughed bitterly and said, "Guess only classless would suit me now." And the system? It locked him in. That was 3 years ago. Now, here he is, #1 in the province, a classless legend. And the system rewards him again. His omnipotent talent just got upgraded from rank B to rank A+. All his skills can now be leveled up 3 tiers higher than usual. He also unlocks new divine tier skills, including lightning, super self-healing, and the game-changing item, Cross of Survival. Plus, he gets a fresh drop of 50 skill and attribute points. Chen's hyped. His normal skills started at E rank, but with Omnipotent, he could push them up to C rank. Now, with this upgrade, he can raise them to B+, which is stronger than most class-specific abilities. And that divine item, Cross of Rebirth, it automatically revives him once if he dies, basically giving him 2 lives. While he's still reeling from how busted his new powers are, his sister runs in, shouting that he's all over the news. Chen brushes it off. He's not into the spotlight. Too many people just want to use him. She points out how much money is involved, and he says he'll accept the official reward from the Ministry of Education, but nothing from shady sponsors who'll expect favors later. It's time to head to school. At Dongyun's school, it's chaos. Reporters are everywhere, bugging students for dirt on Chen. Some of them even tried to block him at the entrance, so he disguised himself to sneak in. Inside, the top representatives from major academies across the country have arrived. One rep from Xingqiu Academy, a guy named Uhai, starts stirring drama. He blames Chen for starting the classless hype, saying other students are now copying him and being reckless. Then, he drops a bomb. If Chen doesn't choose a class right now, he won't be accepted into Xingqiu Academy. Shockingly, the dean defends Chen, saying it's wrong to take away a student's individuality, especially one who just crushed the provincial rankings. Uhai doubles down, saying classless players have no future and that Chen will be worthless later. A stuck-up Xingqiu Academy student named Yan Zhou backs him up, mocking Dongyun School as a dump and saying Chen threw away his future for a little fame. Jin isn't having it. He steps in and reminds them that Chen's already proved himself far beyond average, but Uhai brushes him off. Suddenly, a powerful woman enters the room. She's the head of Xan Nan Academy, and she's not here to play. She reminds Uhai that Dongyun School is under her academy's jurisdiction, and he better watch his mouth. Uhai snaps back that she can't stop him since Xingqiu Academy has more talent anyway. Tension skyrockets. Just as the fight is about to get physical, the dean jumps in and yells, reminding them they're here to recruit, not brawl. But Yanzhou keeps poking, saying the exam results must have been rigged. That's when Chen finally walks in. Jin and the dean try to introduce him, but Chen's already heard the whole argument from outside. He walks straight up to Yanzhou and says, "Wanna check if I really cheated? I'll beat you in 5 breaths." Everyone goes silent. Yanzhou is stunned at the disrespect. This kid just graduated and is already calling out seniors. Jin tries to de-escalate, warning Chen that Yanzhou is a level 19 student at the country's top academy, while Chen's only level 13. The level gap alone is enough to guarantee a loss. But Zhou mocks Chen for backing down. The dean gives up. He's sure Chen is about to get destroyed. The gym clears out for a one-on-one duel. The rules are simple. If Zhou can last 5 breaths, he wins. Zhou tells his mentor he'll end this in 3. The fight begins. Zhou mocks Chen's gear, pointing out that his sword staff is broken, and only the staff part works. Chen doesn't care. It's still more than enough. Zhou casts a spell, bragging that his casting time is only 0.7 seconds. But before he can even finish, a giant fireball is already flying at his face. He tries to throw up a shield but can't handle the force. Multiple fireballs explode around him, blowing him across the arena. He survived, but barely. Chen walks over, steps on him, and asks, "So, this is the best Xingqiu Academy has to offer?" Jin's jaw drops. His student just beat a level 19 advanced mage with just 1 fireball. The whole crowd is frozen. The dean and Jin realize what happened. Chen didn't just cast a normal fireball. His almighty talent evolved the spell's rank during the fight. Classless fighters usually hit a ceiling because their skills stop scaling. But Chen, his omnipotent talent keeps evolving them. He has no ceiling. Now, the other academy reps are scrambling to recruit him. But Uhai is still salty, saying Chen's only good for now. He'll fall off later. His fellow mentors tell him to shut up. Xingqiu Academy just embarrassed themselves. As they argue, the woman from Xan Nan Academy offers Chen something massive, a spot at her school, access to every basic skill book, and the chance to learn international classes like ninja, AI warrior, samurai, warlock, and even vampire. She even throws in top-tier alchemic labs, forges, and polymorphic weapons, gear that can change form mid-battle. Nobody else can top that. Chen, without hesitation, chooses Xan Nan Academy. Later that day, Chen heads out to the park to test his new divine skill, Divine Lightning. The moment he activates it, he vanishes in a flash. The speed is unreal. It's not just fast. It's way beyond anything he's used before. Of course, it drains him hard, but the movement buff is worth it. No other mobility skill even comes close. While he's still catching his breath, his phone buzzes. 2 new transfers just came in. 2 million from Dongyun School and 5 million from Xan Nan Academy. Probably more rewards are still on the way. Time to head home. As he arrives, men from Xan Nan Academy are already waiting outside his house. They've brought something big, the promised polymorphic weapon. Inside the box is a stunning, high-quality demonic spear. A demonic destroyer that can transform into a spear, a sword, or a staff. It's basically 3 gold-rank weapons in one. This means Chen won't have to carry tons of weapons on his back anymore. But the Academy guys aren't done showing off. They say this weapon's been sitting in storage for ages, waiting for someone worthy. They explain weapon ranks for context. Black iron, bronze, gold, platinum, diamond, legend. Each rank can be enchanted with stars to boost quality, but fail an enchantment, and the weapon might shatter. They warn Chen to be careful. It's powerful, but fragile if misused. Then they hand over something even better, a stack of skill book, not just any, but rare basic class skills. Everything else he can access through the Academy's exclusive library. Chen's practically drooling, but the gifts keep coming. The city of Dong'an sends him a villa, not just a house, a straight-up luxury mansion. It's massive, gorgeous, and 100% his and his sister's. Compared to their old place, which was barely bigger than a bathroom, this is like royalty. His sister wants to explore the whole thing, but Chen's more interested in his new Western skill books. He wants to learn everything they've got. 70 years ago, the game Divine Possession released, and over 100 million people jumped in. Most chose non-human races like elves and orcs. When the game merged with reality, it created mixed bloodlines, new races with hybrid abilities. Not just the mechanics, even the maps, monsters, systems, and items got pulled into the real world. The result? A world a million times bigger than before. Dongyun City is now considered tiny. To grow stronger and learn about other races, Chen has to move to a big city like Xan Nan. So he spends the rest of the day studying. He's like a sponge, absorbing all the new info. Within a month, he masters multiple rare class skills and fully bonds with his demonic destroyer weapon. The rest of the time, he spends with his sister, visiting places they could never afford before. But time flies, and soon, the school year is about to start. His sister cries non-stop at the thought of their separation. Chen tells her to call him for anything. No need to hold back now that they're rich. After saying goodbye, he heads out for his new life at Xan Nan Academy. When he arrives, the scene is breathtaking. It's massive. The crowd, even bigger. He's never seen this many people, let alone such diversity, different races, bloodlines, and talents. As he walks in, he's greeted by a beautiful elf who's in charge of registration. She asks for his info, and as soon as she sees the name Yun Chen, her eyes widen. Suddenly, everyone turns to stare at him. Of course, why wouldn't they? He's not just the #1 provincial student, he's also the only classless fighter to ever achieve this level. Because of that, he's entitled to massive privileges, starting with extra academy credits. In Xan Nan, money can't buy anything. But credits, they buy everything. The elf tells him there are more perks, but he'll learn about those later. For now, she escorts him to his living quarters. Along the way, she asks if he's chosen a department. And Nan has 5. Military department, combat and killing. Elemental department, focused on magic. Weapons department, weapon mastery. Support department, healing, alchemy, blacksmithing. Tactical department, strategy and planning. Without hesitation, Chen says the support and tactical ones aren't his style, but the military, elemental, and weapons departments all fit his fighting strategy. They arrive at his new home, and it's insane. A 3-story private mansion, fully furnished with high-end gear, its own training ground, resource storage, and treadmill. This isn't just luxury, it's elite. Only the top 50 students get private homes like this. Everyone else? Cramped in shared dorms with 5 or 6 people per room. Naturally, this breeds jealousy. Everyone's eyeing Chen, waiting for a chance to take his spot. And soon, they'll get one. In just 1 week, the Academy is holding the rookie competition. Every new student is a genius from their province, including the 2nd and 3rd place finishers who believe Chen stole their crown. The system pops up with a new task. Don't lose 1st place. No penalty for failure. But if he succeeds, he gets an S-rank skill and a potion of luck. With that kind of reward, Chen's not scared. Let them all come for him. He's ready. The next day, all freshmen gather for the new student assembly. Chen, of course, stands front and center. Everyone else watches from behind, whispering and gossiping. Some question why a classless guy is standing in front. After all, they were top in their provinces too. One of them gets loud, but is quickly shut down by Shang Tan, a blood knight and champion of Daksho province. He says if anyone has a problem, they can just challenge Chen in the arena. If they're too scared for that, they better stay quiet. Then Qinglin, the destruction mage and Dongling provincial champion, backs him up. Even Shu Hongfeng, 2nd in Xan Nan province and also a destruction mage, joins in, saying he'll take Chen down himself right after the meeting. The dean of the military department, Ya Anfu, steps in. He's got authority and says the place is too noisy thanks to Chen. But instead of shutting it down, he acknowledges that many students are upset. They've all seen Chen's battle footage, and even if they don't like it, he absolutely earned his rank. Another dean, Xia Qingxiong from the weapons department, says Chen's talent with weapons is unmatched. She doesn't usually talk much, but even she wants him in her division. Ya Anfu agrees, saying every department wants Chen, but enough talking, time to settle this. He slams his cane on the ground and teleports to the front of the stage, instantly silencing the crowd. The announcement? The rookie competition will happen today. The students can rest for now, but at 2 p.m., they need to report to the square. The moment the deans say this, the atmosphere changes. Everyone who's been itching to challenge Chen now sees a real chance. By 2 p.m., the square is packed with students. In front of them are 3 massive gates, one of which is silver, something most students have never even seen in real life. Whispers ripple through the crowd, with everyone betting on how fast Chen is going to fail. He can't possibly keep up now that he's up against other provincial champions, right? But Chen's not bothered. In fact, he's calm, observant. He can already tell these so-called prodigies want to tear him apart. One of the teachers steps up and explains the rules. Anything goes. The dungeon they're entering is dangerous, and the outcome will affect not just rankings, but also living conditions and academy credits. Students need to take it seriously. Once the gates open, the test begins, and without hesitation, Chen walks into the dungeon first. The dungeon's name, Troll's Lair. Difficulty, Nightmare. Recommended team size, 1-5. Note, trolls become more aggressive at night, so speed is crucial. Immediately, we see glimpses of other freshmen. One is a mechanic with an exoskeleton, mowing down enemies easily, even though he only placed 653rd. The deans admit the quality this year is impressive. Then there's a priest ranked 213th, who's lying on the ground eating bugs. Yeah, eating bugs. Apparently, the more he eats, the stronger he gets. The deans are baffled. How did this guy even pass the entrance exam? Xia Qingxiong demands the staff switch the feed to Chen. As soon as they do, everyone goes silent. The battlefield is covered in troll corpses. Chen's already cleared the entire room and moved on to the next. Most other students are still fighting their first enemies. One dean tries to figure out how Chen did it. The trolls' bodies are burnt to a crisp, and all the trees nearby have been stripped bare. He probably used Eye of the Storm to drag the trolls into one spot and nuked them with Fireball. It sounds easy when described, but the execution? Nearly impossible without being an elite mage. The elemental department wants him now. Ya Anfu cuts in, reminding everyone that Chen may be the strongest in raw power, but Room 2 is about more than just combat. Back in the dungeon, Chen's boots start sinking into something thick. He's entered a swamp, the kind of terrain where perception and navigation are just as important as strength. He plants his staff into the ground and launches a fireball to blast himself backward out of the sludge. This room is a nightmare. Low visibility, unstable footing, and the constant risk of ambush. It's going to test more than just brute force, but Chen's already got a plan. He activates natural proximity, a druid skill that amplifies his perception based on the number of nearby plants. Normally, this skill is nothing special, but Chen's version is B+ ranked, which means he can literally communicate with nature. Moss, vines, trees, everything becomes his eyes and ears. With that, he easily pinpoints the path to Room 3 and zips through the swamp, swinging from vines like a pro to avoid sinking. The moment he lands on solid ground, a troll tries to ambush him from behind. Chen doesn't even flinch. His polymorphic weapon switches to staff mode, and boom, a fireball to the face. Troll down. No one realizes yet that every plant in the area is working with Chen. He knew about the ambush before it happened. He stabs his staff into the ground again and casts growth. Vines erupt from the earth, trapping multiple enemies. But there's a twist. This evolved version of growth doesn't just restrain enemies, it parasitely feeds off them, draining their life until they're dead. The faculty watching is stunned. They weren't even sure if skills could evolve like that, but after seeing it in action, no more doubts. Ya Anfu points out that this is what makes Chen terrifying. He's not just strong, he's clever. Real battles require more than brute force. Without proper perception skills, you could easily get lost, ambushed, or just die of exposure. Others rely on specific skills like dark vision or magical sensing, but Chen's natural proximity is uniquely perfect for this environment. Meanwhile, Chen is almost out of the swamp. The next room? A maze-like forest, similar to a minotaur's labyrinth. Once again, his connection to plants helps him navigate it with ease. Then, he spots something huge, a level 15 battle troll leader, standing guard in front of the door to Room 4. The guy has 3 main skills, Fury and Battle Cry. Clearly not someone you sneak past, but the leader's napping. Chen cranks up the heat, literally, by launching a massive fireball near him. The startled troll gets smacked in the face and crashes through the doorway, landing right in front of his boss. The boss is unimpressed, the guards groveling and begging not to be punished. The fireball didn't do much damage, and the boss forgives him, then promises to crush the human himself. But before he can charge, a voice calmly asks, "Who exactly do you plan to crush?" It's Chen, walking up behind him with no fear. The troll boss is enraged. Killing his guard dog? That's personal. This boss is level 17, with gold rank 2 gear and a team of elite bodyguards. It's a serious challenge. Chen calmly activates evaluation and starts planning his next move. With a smirk, he says, "Let's prepare a feast." Suddenly, the troll boss lunges at him, and Chen freaks out. For real? Not exactly. The troll smashes him in one blow, but it turns out it was just a clone. Troll boss laughs. Clones? Useless. He starts slapping them down one by one. Then boom, a fireball explodes right in his backline. Another clone? Nope. The real Chen just lit up his elite guards. The boss is tired of games and enters a blood frenzy. Meanwhile, his mage lieutenant is casting spells and trying to control the battlefield. But it's too late. One of the trolls sees something weird. Chen's clone takes a familiar form, a troll, and starts begging the boss for mercy. Right when the boss is about to kill him, a scarlet fireball blasts him from behind. The mage troll next to the boss also transforms. It's another one of Chen's troll clones. He mocks the boss for doing all the hard work for him. The boss turns around and sees all of his elite guards, dead, killed by his own hand under illusion magic. The faculty watching the fight are stunned. None of them understand what just happened, except the magic department head, who realizes Chen used a rare illusion skill, Soul Confusion. Normally, this spell isn't strong enough to trick a high-level boss, but because of Chen's talent, its power has been amplified. He knew the moment he killed the troll leader's right-hand man, he'd spark emotional instability. That opened the door for the hallucination to work. But that trick won't work twice. The boss, now fully aware, is beyond furious. He charges Chen, but immediately steps on a mine. A massive explosion sends him flying. He yells, "You fight too dirty!" Chen just laughs and says, "If you think you can catch me, good luck." He follows up with a brutal combo. Lightning Sorcerer skill, Bone Spike, Mage, Rockfall, Explosive Devices, Mechanic. After that barrage, the boss is still standing, barely. He charges again, and hits another clone. The real Chen appears behind him and activates the night skill, Aerial Dissection. Blades flash, cuts fly, and just like that, the troll boss is dead. Chen clears the nightmare-level troll's lair in 11 minutes and 43 seconds. With the troll chieftain lying at his feet, Chen's reward screen lights up again. Given the nightmare difficulty and the insanely fast clear time, he's awarded a 3S grade, yet another new record. His loot this time, 135,000 XP, 25 skill and attribute points, a gold rank Storm Axe. New title, Troll Terminator, plus 35% damage against trolls. Just from this battle alone, Chen levels up 3 times. The rewards are busted, but it's not over yet. As always, the system offers a choice between 3 talents. Double Spell automatically casts a second spell after the first. Aura of Power boosts attack speed and damage. Battle Madness. Each hit on the same enemy increases attack speed by 4%. They're all amazing, but the obvious pick for Chen's multi-style approach is Double Spell. He selects it, and as before, a beam of light shoots into his forehead, marking the new talent. Just as he's about to leave, a new portal opens right in front of him. Wait, what? He already cleared the dungeon, so why is another gate appearing? Could it be a hidden level? He's only heard about these in rumors. Supposedly, they contain secret bosses, way stronger than anything in the regular dungeon. But the loot is god tier. Since this doesn't affect his exam score, he steps through without hesitation. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, over 2,000 students are gathered at the gates, waiting on the final results. They're annoyed, thinking Chen's taking too long. Then, one student finishes and brags that he was probably first. He starts mocking Chen, saying the classless guy must have washed out. Another student quietly disagrees. He doesn't care about first place, he just wanted to challenge Chen. Then the others finish, realizing Chen isn't among them. But one girl notices something off. Wait, doesn't Chen's screen look different from ours? They zoom in and realize the truth. Chen has already cleared the dungeon and is now inside a secret stage. The salty kids flip out, claiming he must have cheated. No way he got that far legit. That's when the military department dean steps in and shuts them down. Zip it. Wait for the results. But even he's rattled. None of the professors expected a classless kid to unlock a secret level. What's gonna happen in there? Back in the dungeon, Chen enters a dimly lit room. There's nothing inside, except one single figure, a Scarecrow. Its name? Monster. Cursed Strawman. Level 1. Abilities. Hidden. Notes. No known origin. Its presence is an omen. Sounds cursed. Chen uses evaluation, but the level stays stuck at 1. This feels off, like a trap. He gets into a defensive stance and summons a water elemental to test the thing. Then, boom, the Scarecrow teleports and appears right in front of him. Its speed is terrifying. Chen reacts instantly, using Divine Lightning to blink out of range. He barely dodged. But something's wrong. The Scarecrow isn't trying to attack. It's trying to take a strand of his hair. Suddenly, it releases a wave of sinister energy, and Chen knows he can't waste time. He lunges forward and punches it with Fire Fist, triggering an explosion. The result? Chen gets slammed into a wall. His own attack hit himself. What the hell? He stares in disbelief. The Scarecrow transformed into his exact copy. It didn't dodge. It mirrored him. Every hit he deals to it comes back to him. Desperate, he tries Vine to restrain it, but the Scarecrow punches the wall at the same time, causing Chen to get blasted with pain again. It's a nightmare. Every move he makes gets turned on him. But instead of panicking, Chen's eyes light up. He's excited. A worthy opponent, at last. This whole time, things have been too easy. If not for this Scarecrow, he might have actually gotten cocky and stopped growing. This is exactly what he needed. The professors watching are glued to the screen. Finally, someone, or something, can push Chen to his limits. The weapons department dean, Xingqiu, is calm. She believes Chen's not showing fear because he already has a strategy. That confidence in his eyes? It means he's figured something out. Chen starts piecing it together. At first, he thought the Scarecrow was linked to his health, that any damage it took he'd suffer too. But that's not the case. The Scarecrow mimics him, down to the injuries, but it doesn't actually heal when Chen does. That's a huge giveaway. It doesn't share his regeneration skills. More importantly, if they truly shared stats, the Scarecrow would have already broken the walls like he just did with one elbow smash. He grins. This thing is only copying damage. It can't withstand real power. So, he does something insane. He sets his own hand on fire. If the Scarecrow really copies everything, this should end it. Within seconds, the cursed doll bursts into flames and is reduced to ashes. It couldn't handle even a fraction of what Chen can endure. In the wreckage, Chen finds a new reward, a cursed item called Voodoo Doll. Category: Rules. Uses: 1. Effect: wrap a strand of someone's hair around it. Any damage the user receives will be transferred to the target instead. In the right hands, this thing is terrifying. Back at the gate, the other students are still waiting and losing patience. When the final student finishes and stumbles out, the angry crowd gets louder, demanding answers. Suddenly, a booming voice orders everyone to line up. Chen runs toward the gathering, still thinking about how the system hasn't cleared the task. That must mean the competition isn't over yet. Then an old man steps out in front of them all. He announces that some students didn't deserve their ranks. Turns out, someone had cheated, getting dungeon info ahead of time. And it's the same guy who's been accusing Chen of cheating all along. The military department dean is furious. He slams his cane into the ground and summons stone arenas from the earth. New rules. You can challenge anyone to a duel. If you win, you take their credits and ranking. You can't refuse a challenge. The moment he finishes speaking, chaos erupts. Students rush to pick fights with others at their level. But not Chen. He's already ranked first. He doesn't need to take anyone's place. Still, the system hasn't marked the task as complete, which means he has to defend that rank. Two bold students rush up and challenge him together. Chen doesn't even blink. Fighting one by one is boring. Come at me both. They're mad, but agree, thinking they'll split his reward after they crush him. Big mistake. Chen activates Piercing Blow, a basic fighter skill. The moment it lands, a massive cloud of dust explodes across the arena. The watching teacher barely activates a barrier in time to protect the crowd. When the smoke clears, both challengers are already unconscious. Chen moves to finish them off, but the teacher steps in, saying the match is over. He's already won. Everyone watching is speechless. That much power from a basic skill? Even the jealous ones now realize just how stacked Chen's attributes must be. Piercing Blow isn't supposed to hit that hard or stun for that long, but with his insane stats, it's been boosted to terrifying levels. The very students who used to call him a fraud now whisper, "Is he even human?" Their thoughts are cut off by a new voice. Someone steps into the ring. Tyron, the third-place champion of Du Province, and a wielder of the legendary hidden class, Blood Knight. But that's not all. Nicole, an elven swordswoman ranked first in her province and fifth in the entire academy, also challenges Chen. Her bloodline? Silver Moon Elf, famous for their bonus attributes. Rumor has it she's S rank. Tyron panics, claiming he called dibs on the challenge. Chen doesn't care. He tells them both to come at him at once. The teacher sighs and tells them to hurry up and pick. Tyron jumps into the arena alone, refusing help. This is a pride thing now. He's determined to beat the classless wonder by himself. The crowd holds its breath as Tyron steps into the ring. Everyone's expecting a serious clash. He's a Blood Knight after all. That class is built for brutal 1-volt 1S with high lifesteal, defense, and explosive strength. The perfect class to counter glass cannon mages like Chen, or so they think. Tyron makes the first move, activating Blood Sprint to close the gap instantly. His greatsword slashes toward Chen's chest. But Chen doesn't dodge. He just smiles, and lifts a fire-infused barrier that completely blocks the strike. The moment the sword rebounds, Chen unleashes a chain of spells. Explosion Seal, Chain Lightning, Scorching Earth, all in under 1.5 seconds. Tyron's body gets flung backward and his armor starts to melt. He grits his teeth, activates Blood Armor, and charges again, this time unleashing Blood Howl. a skill that boosts strength and disrupts enemy casting. But Chen doesn't even try to cast. He switches his weapon to spear form and uses Fighter's Shadow Thrust, piercing through Tyron's defense and sending him flying once again. The arena shakes with every impact. People watching can't believe it. Chen's casting speed is inhuman, and he switches classes mid-fight like it's nothing. Normally, switching styles like that would create a delay, but for Chen, zero lag. Tyron's eyes widen in disbelief. This isn't just talent, it's perfection. Still, he's not giving up. He activates his Blood Domain, an ultimate skill that drenches the area in a blood-red haze, massively buffing his strength, lifesteal, and attack speed. This is Tyron at full power. But Chen? He just grins and walks forward, letting the blood haze surround him. Then he activates something new. Plague Flame, a self-developed spell combining fire magic and poison enchantment. He throws a single ember at Tyron, and it latches onto his armor. Tyron ignores it and swings. His blade connects, but before he can follow up, he suddenly starts choking. His body trembles. The flame is corroding his blood. The blood domain starts eating him from the inside. Chen explains, "If your power comes from blood, then all I have to do is make your blood toxic." Tyron collapses, KO'd. Chen just soloed a blood knight inside his own domain. The dean of the tactical department jumps to his feet. Who taught him to think like that? Ya Anfu replies, "No one. That's just how he fights." The battle ends, and Tyron's taken out on a stretcher. He's still breathing, but barely. His pride, obliterated. Before anyone can react, Nicole steps up. She draws her glowing silver sword and says calmly, "I'll keep it simple. We exchange 3 strikes. If I don't land one, I'll give up." Chen nods. "Cool. I'll make sure you don't get past the second." They both move at once. Nicole dashes in, faster than anyone expected. Silver Moon Elves have boosted agility, and she's clearly mastered sword form. Her blade arcs straight for Chen's neck. He ducks, slides under, and counterattacks with a staff sweep, aiming to break her stance. But Nicole leaps backward, mid-air, twisting her body with Moon Step, a rare elven movement skill that lets her bounce off magic particles in the air. Chen fires a fireball mid-air to trap her, but she slices it in half, dispersing the explosion. First exchange. No hits. Second round begins. Nicole dashes again, this time zigzagging unpredictably. Chen casts Gravity Field, slowing the air around her, but she teleports using a light-based skill. She appears behind him, her blade inches from his back. Chen spins at the last second and uses his staff like a shield, parrying the blow. He follows up with Lightning Palm, but Nicole jumps straight up and avoids it clean. Still no hits. The third exchange begins. This time, Chen doesn't wait. He activates Double Spell and casts Ice Field and Exploding Flame at the same time. Nicole blocks the ice with her blade but gets caught by the explosion. She crashes into the arena floor, coughing. Chen walks up and helps her to her feet. Nicole bows slightly. "I lost." The crowd goes quiet, then erupts into wild applause. That was the cleanest, most strategic fight they've seen. Chen's not just strong, he's smart, adaptable, and impossible to predict. The dean of the military department finally steps forward and says, "Chen Yun, as of now, you are officially ranked number 1 in this year's entrance exam." The system finally chimes in. Task complete. Protect your first rank. Rewards. S-rank skill. Firestorm Vortex. Potion of Luck. Plus 20% to loot and rare events for 3 days. He drinks the potion immediately. No hesitation. The military department dean declares Chen their first pick, but the other deans aren't having it. The elemental, weapons, and tactical departments all want him too. Chen calmly says he'll choose later. He walks off the stage, already thinking ahead. This was just the rookie tournament. If the Academy's freshman class is this stacked, he'll need to stay 10 steps ahead. Later, alone in his room, the system gives him another surprise. New feature unlocked. Shadow Tower. An independent world made for grinding. Infinite monster spawns. No XP penalty. The further you go, the better the loot. Chen smiles. Time to get back to grinding. If you enjoyed the story so far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to You May Recap, and stay tuned for the next video.